Welcome to Boss Dads Podcast, where we help men
become better leaders, fathers, and entrepreneurs.
Tune in today with us as we discuss the number one topic, New Year. Yes, sir. Riding easy like a Sunday morning.
All right. I've heard rumor of Trump dismantling the Department of Education. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about that, but with your background, I'm sure you've heard something in that area. Could you kind of elaborate on what's going on with that?
Man, well, first I can definitely tell you I'm not even sure how to feel about it because it almost sounds too absurd. It sounds absurd, you know.
Well, you know, Trump is nonchalant in many ways.
He is.
So, but you can never really can tell if he's going to do it or not, and he will do something as detrimental as that to like our kids. I mean, how is that affecting it? I mean, is it bad or is it good? And I would think it's bad, but I don't know.
You know what? Number one, I will say this: it sounds bad.
Right.
It definitely sounds bad. But I'm conflicted, you know, especially somebody who has been in the schools. Number one, pay is affecting a lot of people right now. A lot of teachers are stressed out, you know. That's not something that's unheard of, you know. So it's like, you know, we're almost at a point where do we need a mass education reform? Mm-hmm. You know, when we look at, you know, the academics and the scores and not only that, even how they're teaching students today is much different than when I learned. For example, when I was in school, how the teacher taught it, that's how you did it. That was it. Now, it's like they try to cater to the students almost, and they give them different ways of how to solve a problem, which is good for the most part, but it's not good in a way because they may pick one particular area that they're good in, and that skill might not work in every area, if you get what I'm saying. So I feel like, you know, it's definitely something.
So you saying they're handicapping the kids?
I would say it's hard to say, man. I would say that when you give a child options, they're always going to have a hard time making a decision, especially as a child, right? But I'm saying when we were kids, we didn't have that. Like, we learned PEMDAS. Every time you do math,
PEMDAS.
You do PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear
Sally.
You see what I mean?
Good.
It's automatic.
You don't think they got that right now?
They still have the, you know, kind of the same order.
Man, they probably got
But what I'm saying is now they have,
like, please excuse my dear Aunt AI.
they use like box method. They use different things. So it's just different than when we were kids. So even if he does decide to actually dismantle the Department of Education, like, what would he replace it with?
What does that look like? Like, exactly, like, and where would he start? You know, they say you got to cut the head off the snake. Mm-hmm. So where is the head for the Department of Education for people that don't know? Like, what's the chain of command?
I'm not sure. I know it starts at the government, you know, again, department. So it's under, you know, a government department. But it's definitely worth, you know, more investigating. And one thing about, you know, going into this presidency that I will say, well, two things, is that you're not going to be able to predict everything. You still going to have to live your life and maintain, you know, things on a daily basis and not let the fact that we have a new president consume the majority of your life. Like, you're not going to be able to predict everything. But I want to say that I heard a quote from Nikki Giovanni, you know, the poet.
I thought you were about to say Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj. No, Nikki Giovanni. And what she said, it was so profound and it was simple. And what she talked about applies to today. And she talked about how amazing we were as African Americans to endure slavery. And then she said that we were able to endure slavery because of a few things. And I think these things are important. Number one, loving each other. Number two, you know, cooking together, fellowshipping together. And number three, dancing. Those three things in just about every culture, from African American culture Asian culture, and most cultures are centered around those three things: food, dancing, and loving culture. And I think if we stick to doing that more within our families, we can kind of blot out some of this political noise that's always going on in America.
That's good. That's good. I also would add to that is when we would, after slavery and we was battling equal rights, I feel like we had it going. Like we had our own schools, we had our own radio stations, we had our own businesses. And then it's almost as if after we got like our equal rights, they started just eliminating all the African American businesses and transitioned us into the workforce. And now it's like modern day slavery is what they would say.
There you go. And so that's what we're talking about.
It's like every time we get ahead, it's like, but the thing is, it's almost if that's how it goes when you restart somebody's process of thinking over. That's literally what they did. They brung us over and say, you're going to eat different, you're going to talk different, you're going to work different. So when you do that, you almost kind of can see where they're going to go before they get there. They kind of got a head start. Mm-hmm. And that's why us being able to sing and dance, like you were saying, is something that they couldn't predict that.
Right, and they can't take it away.
Right, because they had no ammo for that. That's why we so strong in music and hip hop and stuff, and we're such a change when it comes to that we're changing them. Their kids is watching Jay-Z. Their kids is trying to be the next Lil Wayne. So they weren't prepared for that. So it really created a time lapse for us to finally get back into us as kings and queens and running our own show. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Even for the podcast arena, like I didn't even know there was so many Black-owned businesses out there. But now when I click on YouTube or I'm scrolling, everything I see is an African-American entrepreneur or a colored minority, let's just say minority, that's doing something. I mean, you got DJ Vlad or whatever. I ain't going to say no names, but you got a lot of podcasters that's really famous out there. But, I feel like it all started with us communicating in the living room, eating over dinner. Like those are some of the best podcasts. I don't care what anybody says. So our culture is stained into America at this point. And they're trying to hold on by mimicking the things that we do. But it's only so much. Like I said, the 400 years of slavery is coming to an end. So things are going to change and people are going to be in control that weren't in control before. Opportunities are way more fathomed or touchable or reachable. Available because of what we did go through as slaves and stuff like that. So, yeah.
All right. And for one of the biggest topics associated with Trump right now, which is immigration and border patrol.
Oh, man, bro.
Go ahead, bro. What you thinking?
Well, I'm in Arizona.
Yeah, you right here. You right here at the border.
I'm at the border.
You are the border.
Listen, you might see somebody running around somewhere.
For real.
Try to tell you.
Good.
Listen, man, out there by where is it? I can't think of it. But man, where the border patrol really be border patrolling.
Can you see border patrol in Arizona?
Yeah, it's a certain city. I can't think of the name of it, but that I used to go to. Yeah, I can't think of the name of it, man. But it's out here. It's in Arizona, man. Like there's border patrol because we're right there on the border between us and Mexico.
Well, my thoughts, man, personally, it's like this. I don't mind people coming into our country, but I do agree that they should come in legally, and that they should have proper documentation. And the reason I say that is not so much against them, but it's like, you wouldn't just let a stranger just walk into your house without knowing who they are. And just because people have to go through a process to get in America doesn't mean it's impossible. But what's more challenging is, for me, for example, two of my coworkers actually immigrated from another country. One of my close friends, he came over here from Egypt. And another close coworker, she came from Laos. But Laos is an Asian country. It's called Laos.
I thought you said loud.
Loud. No, your ears heard loud.
Yeah.
Let's cut that out. Yeah. Loud. Yeah, I have a coworker that she's from Laos, and like I said, my other coworker that's from Egypt. And I asked them, how they felt about it, and they felt the way, and they felt disrespected as well, because yes, Mexico is right under America, and it's not that we don't want people to come into our country, but we need to know who you are. We need to know who you are, where you've been, even things like immunization records, those things are important, and for people who have immigrated from other countries and who have had to go through that process, I feel like, we're doing a disservice to them if we're letting people from other countries just walk in.
Yeah. And I don't like when you call customer service and they can't speak. They act like they can't understand nothing you saying.
Yeah.
And you can't understand nothing they saying. And I ain't talking about it, but I'm saying, like, I feel like the test that we take, first off, anytime we using, virtual assistants, they should have like some type of guidelines so that they need to be able to take some type of test before you can make them your virtual assistant to answer calls for us in America, because that's not good customer service. Secondly, which is most importantly, that was just me going on a rant because I don't like it. But secondly, if you coming into our country, you need to know the basics. You need to know our structure. Understand the 3 laws the government branches. Understand, what is it? Legislative, judicial, executive. Like, know them 3. If we gotta know them, you need to know them.
All right.
Know, why we got 50 stars on the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what the stripes and stuff is for. Like,
that's right.
You want us to respect y'all, or like your friend for saying that, like, that's fine.
Right.
But like, respect us.
Right.
Not to say I'm like Mojo American, but it's like, it is what it is. Even though we came over the ships at this point, we so down the line.
Well, we built this.
Now we got us, exactly. We got some blood, sweat, and tears in it. So it's almost like, even though they whooped us and made us do it, we got down, like, you got some type of, like, we got some skin in the game.
They can't deny our contribution. It's clear. It's very clear, most parts of America, it's clear how African Americans, have established and helped, push American culture, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, all those things African Americans have had an influence on. And even politically now, that we, recently, a couple of years ago, had our first Black president. Like, that was the first time I voted. The first time I ever voted was for President Barack Obama.
Me too.
So that was
and I was in the military.
It was a life-changing experience. Like, oh wow, I'm really,
was I in the military? Because I don't think you can vote if you was in the military. I can't remember the rules.
Yeah.
When was he president?
I think 2008.
Oh yeah, can't be, bro. Yeah, yup.
But he was elected twice, so you might have been in a second time.
I was in once and I was out for one.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I might have been in both.
Yeah. All right, and so again, like we said, man, it's controversy versus capitalism. Don't get it in the mix of everything that the news has going on that's talking about the politics. Like, focus on your family, focus on your finances, and focus on your future.
Right.